Hello, people. We're starting a couple of minutes early just to make sure everything's working all right. And there we are. Hello. I'm not sure if anybody's here with me at the moment. Just starting a little bit early. Have a fun topic tonight. Is anyone here with me? I'm checking out the comments to see if anyone's here. I see somebody showing up. As you come here, you can say hi to me in the comments. My name's Jewel. Hi, everybody who's showing up. Just starting a little bit early. See if we've got everything working okay. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. And I'm not able to see who might be here. Still kind of new to this Facebook Live thing. I'm not sure how to see who's here and whether or not you can see me. Can anyone try a comment so I can find out if you're able to see me? I'm not seeing any comments yet. If Rodrigo or any other moderator of this knows how, can you get to me on WhatsApp maybe and tell me how to set up the comments, because I can't see if anyone's able to comment or not. I'm happy to see a few people here. It's a fun topic. I just enjoyed watching Eliana's lecture in Portuguese. That was awesome. Getting ready to start, but still not able to do anything with the comments yet. Just working on that. If anyone comes through on WhatsApp and tells me how to set up the comments, that would be great before we start. Still have a minute or so. Let's see. Bear with me, everybody. I thought the comments would be automatic, but I can't really see anything. So we'll be starting soon anyway. Just another few seconds and we'll be starting. Thanks for being with me, everybody, and bearing with me. The topic is going to be fun tonight. I'm just checking out to see if I didn't click anything that I was supposed to in order to get this comment thing going. I'm really hoping somebody sends me, oh, there we go. Just give me a few moments while you're all settling in with me. Okay, it says you can hear me all right. Commenting. I guess I don't see it, so I'll probably just proceed without my being able to see the comments, as long as you're able to comment, because I was hoping to interact with you a little bit, so that's going to kind of put a kink in my plan. But I'm happy anyway. Tonight's topic is happiness. So I can't quite figure out why I don't see the comments. So I won't be able to get your responses to, let's see, your responses to I was going to ask you guys a couple of questions for fun. For fun, I was going to ask you a couple of questions. So we might just have to do it without my being able to see your responses. Let's see. Restricted discussion, slow. I'm sorry, everybody. I will start soon. Since I can't see your comments, nobody can help me, I suppose. Comment moderation. Followers. If anybody can send me a quick WhatsApp to let me know how to It's all good. Everybody's saying we can see and hear you. Okay. I had hoped to be able to see your responses because I was going to ask you questions, and that was supposed to be part of the fun. Let's see if this works. Oh, let's make this big and see if your comments are good. No? All right. Without being able to see your responses, I had planned to ask you about a couple of things and respond to you. I'm going to start, and I apologize for not being able to see what you might be commenting to me as. All right. Welcome. My name's Jewel. Sorry for the late start. I haven't got myself set up with comments, so that's why we're starting just a couple minutes late. I'm with Paul and Stephen Spiritist Center, and we have a fun topic tonight, happiness. And stick around. Well, I was going to say stick around because I was going to ask you some questions, but I can't see the comments. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but we're going to roll with it anyway. So normally we just start with our lectures in Portuguese and in English every week during isolation with a little opening prayer, quick little breathe and relax. So let's close our eyes, or you can do as you like, and take a couple breaths. And we'll open. You can say it if you like to with me or not, with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, now and forever. All right, here I go. I'm going to have to improvise a little bit because I really wanted to talk to you guys a little bit for fun. But since I can't, I will do what I can do. What is happiness? Happiness is a big piece of the big picture. And happiness can be felt as a feeling of contentment, warmth spreading through your body, elation, excitedness in a really great way about wonderful things. It's a state that we all love and we all want to be in and experience as much as possible, and it's kind of it's like a divine right or destination. It's a divine destination. It's something that we all have been given as a gift to aspire to, and it comes at varying levels. There are two types of happiness. There's a temporary happiness that comes with things people do, shiny new toys. Getting a new job can be very exciting. Getting a new car, very exciting, makes us really happy, especially if we're in a happy place already, to be happy about it. A bigger house, or somebody does something that we had really wanted them to do for us, or they surprise us with something nice, which is really lovely. But these kinds of this kind of happiness tends to be temporary, because after a while, the effect of the new thing or the thing that was done will wear off, and then we find ourselves, if we haven't built up the other kind of happiness, which is a more lasting and kind of building an eternal happiness, then we will, after the temporary happiness fades, maybe slide back into what we may be doing, which is what a lot of human beings are doing, unfortunately. Stressing out, depressed, we're upset, we're anxious, we're angry about stuff, and we're fearful about things. And we tend to spend, as humans, we spend a lot of time there, partly because we're on autopilot, cruising along, and we don't try to build ourselves all the time, which is what it takes to sort of attain or aspire to this place of beauty and wonder that's our destiny, all of our destiny. The Yeah, so basically it's something you have to sort of work towards and put conscious effort into. And happiness, ultimately on the higher levels, is going to be a beautiful thing. So once we've worked through all the other stuff, we get up a little bit higher. And if I don't remember to say this in the rest of this lecture, I was listening to Eliana's lecture, and she mentioned inner reform, which I hope that I remember to talk about, but that's a major tool before I get into the other bits and pieces. A major tool towards working towards our happiness, our lasting happiness that can be our center and our rock when things don't go so well. So that happiness is something we really want to build up. We may get addicted, a little bit addicted to our stress and our anger and stuff because it's so comfortable, it's easy, it's what we know. But you want to begin working out of that because you do have a destiny that you will be pushed towards. And by the law of progress, sometimes being miserable for a while, you can become comfortable with that. But after a while, that's going to get really tiring, and you'll begin to have glimpses of things and want to work towards that lasting happiness, the other type of happiness. So if I was able to see your comments, which I can't, and I'm very sorry for that, I was going to have you keep in mind some ideas about stumbling blocks to happiness. And I would be asking your input, but since I can't see what you're saying, I will begin to talk about them myself. Happiness can be blocked by a number of things, and the ones that I came up with were, for starters, are vices that we have. Emotional, spiritual vices, mental vices, surrounding things like pride, selfishness, vengeance, anger, resentment. These things, pride, if you've got a big ego about something and you feel like prideful about your way of doing things, and you're not paying attention to other people's ideas and maybe asking yourself if those ideas might be better or equivalent, at least, to your ideas, then that's a block. And one of the reasons these vices are a block is because we're given free will to choose how we're going to live our lives. And sometimes we make a lot of choices and send us down the wrong path, and we build up maybe a sense of pride, unhealthy pride, selfishness. We may make choices that lead us down a path where we're just grabbing stuff for ourselves and not thinking about who we step on to get what we want. And people may do things to us, and because we haven't built up enough of a reserve of faith in the system that God set up, where we're working towards love and happiness together or separate for a while. If we're doing bad stuff, we may feel angry and resentful and want to get vengeance for something that's been done to us, and it may be really intense, and there may have been some bad stuff done, or we may be overreacting a little bit, but a lot of us have experienced some bad things done by other people, and we have a hard time letting go of that. So these things, though, in the system that's been set up, get in the way of our happiness development. And we may not realize it at the time, and we may not realize it for now, or maybe for several lifetimes. And we may be stuck there for a while, and we get used to that. But then sometimes we catch glimpses of other people being happy, and we wonder what that's about. And we might try and step outside of those things. So one of the major, well, I'll get to that, the tools for working on these things. Another stumbling block is a lack of patience. One of the places I got about time was from the Heaven and Hell book, Alan Kardec. And the thing is, we don't get supreme happiness overnight. As I mentioned before, it's something that we have to work towards, and we need to develop patience. And if we don't develop it ourselves intentionally, life is going to whack us over the head with some stuff to get us to slow down. And it may not be pleasant, it might be painful, but will force us to develop a kind of patience. And then we might start looking around ourselves and doing what it takes to develop happiness, because we realize that happiness might feel better than what we've been doing up to this point. Negative self-talk is something that gets in the way of us being happy. A lack of forgiving ourselves, or just not feeling good enough and spending so much time thinking about that. My body isn't right. I don't know how to talk to people. I'm not capable of doing that thing that gets me the better job to make more money. These kinds of things are going to wreck our ability to move forward and try to live in a more positive mindset and do the things that we can do to feel better in a lasting happiness, to attain that happiness. Lack of willpower was another one I put on stumbling blocks. The willpower is kind of important. I was watching a really great video by Mel Robbins. She is funny, and her thing was about willpower, kind of the activation energy it takes. She's really funny. The video, if you want to see it, was called How to Stop Screwing Yourself or How to Stop Screwing Yourself Over. It's very funny. But she talks about how the effort, if we want to make changes, we have to use our willpower. And we're never going to really feel like making changes if we're just cruising along in a sort of a blasé kind of situation, life, not super happy, but we're just going to sit on the couch. We're not going to do anything. We're going to watch Netflix. We're never going to feel like it. So we're going to have to use our conscious mind, our willpower, to start making the changes that we need to do. We need to start researching things we can do, and we need to start pushing ourselves off the couch and start maybe get a notepad or something, or get a yoga mat or listen to a meditation video. I'll get there, sorry. But we have to use our willpower to start making those changes. We have to make conscious changes to begin attaining that happiness. Otherwise, we're just hanging out with a few moments of temporary happiness. So, were I able to see your comments? I'm very sorry I can't. I would ask you, can you tell me some thinking changes that we can do to increase our happiness? And then we'll talk about activities we can do to increase our happiness. I'm going to start at the bottom of my thinking changes, but from the Spirits book, which had some points. It's also Ellen Kardec. From question 919, there's a quote that's basic and very important, and it's self-knowledge is the key to inner transformation. So learning more about ourselves, as Eliana mentioned, and also the work, this material we study in Spirit Center focuses a lot on inner reform. And so the more you begin to know yourself and understand yourself, my first one here is self-reflection. The more you can figure out what you're doing that fits with, the system God's set up, and the things that you're doing that don't really fit, because you've got your free will. Thank you, God, for the ability to choose what we do, which makes our good choices all that much more delicious. We're able to, we need to start examining ourselves and see how the choices we're making and how we're living our daily lives are working for us. We have to use our conscious mind to begin a process of self-reflection. Sometimes it happens by accident, but if you really want to make progress, you kind of might want to make, this is one thing, one suggestion, a daily habit of checking out, what did I do? Did something I do feel right or wrong? If it felt wrong, do you need to rectify something with somebody, or do you need to just learn from it and try not to do that again in the future? Or are you all clear? Are you all clear in your head? Yeah, my day was lived pretty well. I took care of people, didn't hurt anybody, I didn't say anything bad. My day was pretty good. But you learn from your mistakes every day if you want to, from your self-reflection. So another thing I put under how to change our thinking was to, I mentioned before, try some self-love techniques, some forgiveness of yourself. That's really important. And sometimes we think we're doing just fine, but deep down underneath, we're being hard on ourselves for something that God doesn't want us to be hard on ourselves. God wants us to see what we maybe think we did wrong, deal with it, and let it go, and be free, make room for all this beautiful change and for our happiness to grow. Another one is changing our thinking. Try seeing other people's perspectives, their point of view on things. Remember that or try to come to understand that we're all equal. No matter what other people have done, horrible or bad to us, on all different levels of horrificness, those people who do that are our brothers and sisters. So we have lots of great feeling brothers and sisters, and we have some brothers and sisters who are equal with us, whether we like it or not. That's a hard one for a lot of people to swallow, but it's true, because all souls are created equal under God, and we all use our free will to screw everything up or to intend to reach for that happiness. I also wrote down, don't squash your subordinates. If you have people working for you, your being in that position as a manager is a gift, and it's a responsibility. And if you misuse it, you're not going to feel so good, because God's got this system set up where you're going to wind up, dealing with some karmic stuff for having treated people badly who are under your control. And it goes for home life as well. If you've got people at home, spouse or children, who depend on you to bring home the bacon or whatever, you can't treat them badly. You have to appreciate them for the joy that they bring to your life. And you have a responsibility to figure out how to uplift all the people who are under you. You're only over them temporarily. It's a test. It's also a gift to practice your ability to treat other people well under you. And you will feel more happiness if you use that gift the way God hopes you will, in the system that God made for all of us to reach for happiness. Trust in the divine plan. Be patient, tolerant, and forgive. Try to remember that God is patient with you. Try to be tolerant of other people making mistakes. Remember, if you see somebody doing something you don't like, check yourself first before you get upset about it, and see if you have done some of these things, or if you've done other things, and realize that you make mistakes too before you go and get angry with somebody. Try to practice tolerance for other people's mistakes. Maybe see it as a sign that you should stop and pay attention and check yourself first. Forgive. That's a tough one. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. You can go and check out a lecture on Portuguese or in English on forgiveness. It's a tough one, but there are things you can do to work on, practicing forgiveness. You need to learn how to forgive, because if you hold on to vengeance and feelings of resentment, it's a poison that stops you from attaining the happiness that we're all sort of after, because it's there waiting for us. And so those are some thinking changes, ways of trying to change your mindset a little bit. You have to use your conscious willpower to go over those things, see which ones you want to work on a little bit. And then if I could have been able to see your comments, I would have asked you to just chime in with some activities you think people can do to increase our happiness and our lasting happiness. And I can't see it, so I'm going to start going over some of them. Meditation is a good one for a lot of people. Maybe doesn't work right away for some people, and you might give up, and it might not be the right thing for you at that time. But even just a few minutes a day, like 10, 15 minutes of meditation, breathing, and just trying to clear your mind. You make space for good ideas to come to you or just to clear your mind. You may have different objectives when you meditate. Prayer is important. Connecting yourself with, your guardian angels, the universe, God, any good spirits are helping you out, or just praying to ask for clarity, vision, just to help you with your self-reflection, to see where you can improve, or asking for what your particular individuality needs to start with first, to begin working on feeling better instead of hanging out in a stressful, negative, black place, because it's so much more fun to be happy. So pray about it. Books are great that edify and enrich you. There's some really great stuff out there. You can do Google searches. You can read books that will give you ideas that you hadn't thought about. We need to keep our brains moving and make use of that willpower with new information all the time, or information that reinforces what we already knew. And it can help you start to feel better and give you new ways to deal with the need for increasing our happiness. Other people. Oh my gosh, this one is so important, and I almost missed it before, but time with special people in your life is so important, because happiness is really strongly connected to love for everybody. And if you don't have any really special people who uplift you and they love to be near you because you uplift them, you need to get some. Because that's like a major component. Along with self-reform, you need to have some support in your life and be able to practice giving that support to some special people. And you may have a lot of friends and everything, but you need to have a few people that you can really rely on to be there for you. And if you don't have it, you need to do stuff to go out and get it. Go join a group, go join a club. You'll if you pray about it and you ask the universe or God or source for it, it'll happen for you. You just have to, be open and go out and do that. You can even do it online if you're sitting home in isolation and you need to connect with somebody. Join some chat rooms of things that you're interested in. There'll be one person in there whose soul recognizes your soul, and you'll start chatting, and before you know it, you've got somebody special and important in your life, even while you're sitting here in isolation. People are really important. Love, connection between people is very important. Gratitude. Let's see how I'm doing here. Gratitude is massively wonderful tool. And I've been on a gratitude kick, as we mentioned last time, and I love it. It's wonderful. It's like this surprising thing. It's kind of like meditation, but you start intentionally practicing gratitude, and all the stress, anyway, any depression, anxiety, all this misery stuff starts to move aside, because you start building this thankfulness about all the good things that you do have, and you start feeling happy with the things that you have, and in believing that you can create more happiness and you start getting all these great ideas. It's really wonderful. It worked for me. It may not work for everybody, but intentionally practicing it, maybe with a group, is a really great tool, along with prayer and inner reform. Gratitude is a really great complement to a spiritual journey and towards happiness. Hobbies, getting outdoors, hobbies can be really important, at least for shaking up your dark energies that you're living in, and to help us start shaking you up and getting you to start waking up to other ways to choose happiness instead of all the other possibilities, the negative possibilities. During isolation, I have really, in a weird way, I know it's a horrible time for the world, but at the same time, it's been an amazing time for a lot of people to go inward and start doing different things that we maybe never made time for before. So I've been, I started off doing gardening and exercise and learning how to play the guitar, which is really fun. I always wanted to. And here I am midlife and finally starting a few minutes here and there to play the guitar. It's awesome. But those things will start leading you to other things. So that stuff led me into gratitude practice, and gratitude practice has led me back into a rediscovering of my big life dream, which is totally amazing. And I'm just saying these things can happen for you too. You just have to click into the things that are going to work for you. Serving other people is a big one. The way God's got this whole system set up, you kind of get little inner kudos for serving other people. It's almost kind of like works a little bit like gratitude does. You start doing it and you have this lovely feeling of joy inside yourself. It just feels good to start serving other people, and you get this beautiful feeling inside yourself, and you start thinking you want to do more of that. And so that's a kind of neat little reward system God's got working on there. So that's to help us learning how to love other people and love other people. You should take care of yourself, because that's important. If you take care of yourself, you can take care of others better. But it's really, the more you can put yourself out there to serve other people, you will also attain greater degrees of happiness. Finding your purpose, I put down. Finding your purpose. We may be living perfectly okay lives, and that's wonderful. It might be what you're supposed to be doing this time, is just being with your family and having children and having your job that you go to every day. But if you haven't found a purpose, or you feel like you're missing your purpose somehow, that's a really big thing you can dive into and say, pray about, meditate about, read all kinds of stuff about, until you find it, until you latch on. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I love, and that's what I'm meant to be doing. If you can latch onto that, your happiness can go up a bigger notch, and then I think the momentum will start carrying you through. And you don't have to give up what you're doing. It might be something that's your purpose that you can add in and just go along with the flow and see how that goes. Things will change as they're meant to, and when you outgrow your shoes, you get a new pair of shoes and bigger feet, and you start doing more miles or kilometers. And I'm American, I still say miles. But so I'm pretty much coming to the end here. I would say one quick thing about if you are experiencing depression or anxiety or anger or fear, and you happen to be taking medication, I wouldn't just jump off and start trying this list of things to attain your happiness. I would, don't change your medications at this point. Just consider the possibility of adding in a few of these things to increase your happiness, to add to whatever program you're working with your doctors or your psychologists. Later on, you can rebalance or work that out with your doctors and psychologists. Because as you add in these things, you may want to examine that, or you may be just put it all together and it just keeps working and getting bigger and better for you somehow. So, still wishing I could see your comments, but it's been a joy being here. I'll just say in summary that happiness is the beautiful thing that God has given us to work for. There are things we can do to create the happiness in our lives and reach for that and share it with other people, as we've just gone over. And when you start doing that, life can be sweeter and sweeter all the time. No matter what's going on, you have more strength to deal with the things that maybe might not be so agreeable. The more happiness that you build, and gratitude and love that you share with other people, will help give you the strength and joy to get through that moment, even when things are difficult. So, try some of it out. Anyway, thank you so much, and we'll have a quick prayer or meditation, a little breathing practice and wind up for the night. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Sorry for the beginning. If you have any questions about any topics or need some assistance from anything that the Paul and Stephen Spirit Center might be able to do for you, please feel free to contact them on the Facebook page here. And there are lots of people here with us all together who would love to chat with you. Anyway, okay, thank you so much for being here. I'll just ask you to relax for a moment. Take a big, deep breath. We thank you, God and Jesus and all our good spirits have been here with us today. We thank all of you who were hanging out here with me today. In one big circle of energy, we'd like to offer up the energy we have of the possibilities of happiness that we've hopefully pulled together today, and send that up and out and let it be taken to places around the world where this energy of togetherness, love, and growing happiness can be used to help heal the world in this challenging time. This time of transformation. Please give some of our energy also in our circle of happiness and love together to the leaders of the world who may need some assistance and guidance and good energy to make good decisions to help the world get through this challenge, this moment in time. And we'd also like to share the energy with all the people around us and with ourselves, and take this lovely moment in time and energy with us into the rest of our weekend and into the following week. And be sure and share as much as you can this feeling of beauty and happiness and hope with other people you're in communication with. Thank you so much, God, for everything. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully next time we'll get the comments sorted out. All right. Take care, people.